Hello, Africa. Welcome to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices Show. This is the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. How have you been? I keep asking this question because I always want to know how you're doing. I'm doing very well, and I want to believe that you're also doing well as well. All right, whenever we start, we always want to acknowledge our sponsors who have made it possible for us to always have this show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. If you're joining us for the very first time, we're streaming live on Facebook at ETV Ghana's Facebook page, okay? So if for any reason you need to leave your TV set, don't worry. Just transition to your phone or to your laptop or computer and continue the conversation with us. So, Afariwa Styles, thank you so much for the way I'm looking. I love the net around my sleeves and the color of what I'm wearing. Thank you so much. To locate Afariwa Styles, go to Facebook and Instagram at afariwa.styles. Afariwa is into contemporary ladies and gents outfit, all right? And one thing I like about it is the fact that once you go there, you will find a range of items in different sizes. You just fit and then you move away with the one that works for you. Chicken. Afariwa, thank you so much for the revolution you are bringing into the design industry. And my hair has been put together by Awo's Hair. Awo is also on Facebook and Instagram. You can locate her on Instagram and on Facebook, yes, at Awo's Hair. All right, you can also call her right now. The phone number is scrolling right now at the base of your screen. Chana Sheto is Ghana's #1 pepper sauce, and you can also call her. The number is on your screen. If you call Chana Sheto, ask her for bulk purchases, okay, so that you can start a business on the side with it. Chana Sheto really moves fast, and if you start as a business, you're going to be very happy you did, because the patronage will be on the very, very high side. And I also want to say a very, very big thank you to Leap Tomato Mix. Leap Tomato Mix has made it possible for Ghana's jollof to be the tastiest across Africa, across the world. Only jollof rice? No. Abenkwan, your stews, your light soup, any dish at all that just needs you to have tomato mix in it, use Leap Tomato Mix, and the difference will be very clear. You can also call them right now or tomorrow morning. Pick up their phone number. It's right now at the base of your screen. So 60 seconds update is where I'll be taking you to, because I need you to know what's happening with women here in Ghana, across Africa and across the world. Once you are a black woman, once you're an African, our lenses will be on you. So let's find out who our lenses was able to catch this time around. Just stay tuned.
Standard Chartered has announced the 20 successful businesses that will participate in Cohort 2 of the Women in Technology Incubator Program at an induction ceremony at the bank's head office in Accra. The program is a business incubator specifically designed to provide business support for women-led or women-owned businesses that leverage technology as part of the bank's commitment to creating opportunities for female entrepreneurs. Speaking at the induction, Mansa Nete, Chief Executive of Standard Chartered Bank Ghana PLC, congratulated the entrepreneurs on their selection and shared some fundamental principles with the cohort to benefit their businesses. The Libyan Transitional Council of Ministers, headed by Abdel Hamid, has suspended the implementation of an agreement with the United Nations on gender equality. The decision was taken on the eve of International Women's Rights Day at a government meeting. According to the official statement, the suspension was taken as a precaution in view of the conflict of some of its articles with the provisions of Islamic Sharia law. However, Huraya Tomal, the Minister of State for Women's Affairs, who has been widely criticized by the Islamists, made it clear last October when the agreement was signed that national law takes precedence in the event of a contradiction. This step has sparked widespread controversy among Libyans and fears that this could contradict Libyan legislation and laws as well as religious values. Oheneyere Gifty Anti, celebrated Ghanaian broadcaster, has disproved the assertion that leaders need conducive environments to deliver on their tasks. According to the seasoned journalist, you don't need to be in a comfortable lead to lead. During her interview on Monday on a Ghanaian radio station, she stated that based on her experiences, she has mastered the ability to thrive in rough circumstances. Gifty Auntie has therefore compiled her experiences into 2 new books, which was launched on Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. The first book, Broken But Beautiful, and the second publication titled Room 5005. According to the woman empowerment advocate, altogether, her 5 books were written from the comfort of a mobile phone.
And you're welcome back to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. And how I love to read your comments. I've seen comments already, flowing in, and I'd like to acknowledge them right now before it gets too much and I'll not be able to speak to them. And first on the list is Nedem Mom. She says, looking beautiful as always, and she gave the heart eyes. Thank you so much, Nedem Mom. I see Phony Matthew. He says, I'm watching you guys live from Wenchi, Bono region. But you are looking good as well. And he's giving the thumbs up and even the heart. Thank you. Phony Matthew comes back and says, keep it up. And then Evans Odro says, yes. I don't know if it's yes or years he wants to say, but I acknowledge it, okay? Akpabli Zulian, he said he puts the thank you or the prayer hands. And I think that's what I've gotten at the moment. And let's just delve into what the conversation for today is going to be about. Well, International Women's Day was on the 8th of March and activities happened. We even celebrated it here on African Women's Voices show. But let's remember that the month still celebrates women, and we're still having to talk about, not having to break the bias. Break the bias. We're talking about it. And also the fact that even after this month, we want to still keep talking about the women agenda and to see how things can be better for us, and to reduce the gender gap between the males and the females. So African Women's Voices show is always looking out for partnerships that would, accelerate the women agenda, that will make it look more beautiful. If you have something you're doing that is educational, it's creating the right kind of awareness, and is going to reduce the gender gap, we are very interested in it. Give us a call, reach out to us, and we will come and be there to amplify your voice. So one of the people that reached out to us for this amplification is Femme in Style Africa. So we had a collaboration, and then we talked about how people should, look at how we could reduce the gender gap and the breaking the bias agenda. So we are going to be hearing from the various people that we're able to interview there, and what they said were really insightful. We're going to be starting with a DJ. She works with YFM within the Global Media Alliance Group, and she's DJ Ms. Austin. We'll get to find out how she's been coping in a field that is highly dominated by men. Let's watch. Hello, Africa. Welcome to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. This is the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. We are here at the Alliance Francaise premises, where Femme in Style is organizing the International Women's Day activity, which is looking at African women breaking the bias. Yes, we are all looking forward to having a lot of biases broken. And seated right next to me is one lady who actually has broken the bias over the years. She is a female DJ in a space that is highly dominated by males here in Ghana, and would like to talk to her about her experiences in this male-dominated space. You're welcome to African Women's Voices show, Ms. Austin.
Hello, Mrs. T. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So I want to believe you've talked about what your experience as a female DJ is, to so many people. But the reason why we are amplifying the voices of women is because we know that miracle is not going to happen over one day. We want it to be spoken about over time so that people get to really understand. Could you tell our audience exactly what your experience has been over time in this space that is highly male dominated?
Oh, lots of good and bad. So there's just a lot of pressure being a female DJ because everybody, most of the time, they can't comprehend that you can actually DJ. DJing is actually simple, but I think that people assume there's some calculus to it, there's some magic to it. So you always have people second guessing whether you can play or not. You always have people breathing down your neck when you are working. You have people actually monitoring you when you are working. That's one. Two, you can easily be sidelined because you're a woman. It's like, or you can easily be sidelined when there's an event, or it takes a longer time for them to warm up to you. But when they warm up to you, it's a different ball game. Like you're in a nice space, especially in the club scene. What I've seen is when I started I've been in this industry for 10 years. But for the first
Congratulations.
thank you. For the first 5 years, you are always put at the warm up set, the safe set, because they are afraid that you might mess it up. So yes, these are some of the challenges. Also, you are not you are not paid as much as the men, right? So a man, let's say for a small event, can say, "Well, pay me 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000," and people be like, "Oh, okay, it's okay for you to get that." But if a woman wants the same, then it's like, "Oh no, Chale, like we're giving you as a chance to show yourself and all that." Also, the reason another key reason my mother was scared of me being a DJ was, aside she's saying it's a ruffian's job, kubolo's job.
Okay.
They were afraid that women in entertainment never get married. So it's just like there's a stereotype that women in entertainment don't get married. You always have men. You always have men coming on to you whether you like it or not. There's a stereotype, and I am glad and I am blessed to have broken this particular bias or this particular stereotype that a woman can be whatever she wants to do. She can be a contractor. She can be anything she wants to do without all these stereotypes and these biases and these things that stops you from being what you really want to do. Yeah.
Okay, so do people actually come up to you and tell you, we want you to DJ for us? Or it's all based on recommendation? For instance, as a woman, because you already have this label that, okay, you may not really be able to do it. So maybe getting the jobs may have to be by recommendation, getting people saying, she can't do it, she can do it before you get it. Do they really walk up to you and say, we want you to be the DJ for this event?
Most of it has been recommendation because of the way Ghanaian society is. It's not. I don't think it's a personal thing against me. But Ghanaian entertainment industry is usually by whom you know recommendation. So, if I have, I don't remember. But most of them has been. Oh, I DJ'd an event. Someone took my number, and then later was wanted me, or someone in the industry, or someone that knows me recommends me to do. So it's usually by recommendation, but I haven't had one. I don't remember. If I do, I'll let you know. But I haven't had anyone say, "Yeah, it's you I want. It's you I want." You. Most of them either know me or there are people in the industry who recommend me.
All right, so please, I'd like you to look into the camera and encourage any other woman, young girl who really is interested in becoming a DJ.
Look, any woman who wants to be a DJ, first of all, I will tell you, it's lucrative. Back from 10 years ago when I started, now you can actually make a living out of it. That's one. Two, you have people like me and other female DJs who have been able to, because when I started DJing, we had really nobody to look up to except DJ Kess, right? And she was the only person, but we didn't have like a lot of people. Now we have me, we have DJ Nice, we have DJ MJ, we have even DJ Switch. We have all these females breaking through. So it is possible. It is lucrative, and don't let anything, whether it is don't let anything stop you, whether it's a stereotype, whether it's, don't let anything at all stop you from doing what you want to do, aside even being a DJ. Don't let any stereotype, don't let any bias that you are a woman stop you from doing what you actually want to do, because when you actually do what you want to do, you never have to work a day in your life, and you will be so happy you chose that path. Hi, my name is Miss Austin and I'm a DJ. I would like you to watch African Women's Voices every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. with Mrs. T.
I talked about the fact that in our question asking for support as women, we need to be truthful with each other, because sometimes we say that I am there for you, I share in your story, but when it comes to the work, we are not there as women. First of all, we need to break that notion that what a woman does in her field of work has to be approved by a man. So if you're in a male dominated field and you're working, you get especially women who will come across you. Let me use myself as an example. I work in the entertainment field. I do mainstream concert protocols. And you will have situations where in the thick of work, somebody you know, a woman, it is always some woman who will walk up to you and ask that, "Well, you're working at this time of the night. Why are you here? Who is taking care of your children? Where are they?" And I get that sometimes we say this out of consent, but let us ask ourselves, if it were a man working, would you say that to him?
You wouldn't ask that question.
Yes, we wouldn't say that. So we should allow people to thrive in their fields without necessarily labeling them. The other bit is for us to know that it is time we start telling truths to each other. If you have accepted a certain way of life, this is how you want to live. There's no shame in your game. But do not give impressions to other impressionable young girls by telling them untruths for them to find themselves in situations that is not right. We need, as women, we need to be truthful with each other. We need to tell each other the truths of our journey. We need to let women know that, listen, children, husband, marriage, all that, it's complements of life. It does not make a woman. With or without that, a woman is whole. She's a whole being. She's achieved all she has. Because you find that in an interview, you've gone for an interview for a job, and you're being asked, so how do you manage your home and your work? Are you a submissive wife? And all that. When a man goes for an interview, is he asked if he's a submissive husband? He's not asked. Is he asked if he loves his wife as the church said, as Christ said the church is loved? He doesn't. So why do we always limit women's wholesomeness to what they are or what they are not? For me, it's important that we tell each other these truths as women.
Great. I love the part where you mentioned that, I mean, if you get into a gathering, you don't expect people to ask you certain questions. Are you married? Where's your husband? And all of that. It really moved me because it's something that people keep asking women all the time. They already want to gauge you and, okay, if you're married, okay, then they should see you in a certain way. If you're not, then okay, maybe that kind of thing. So what you're saying is that people should take out all those.
I mean, you are a whole being. And if you're not married, then it means that you've achieved everything in life, but that is lacking. So that for me is so wrong. With or without those complements in life, every woman is whole. And let us stop hiding truths about abuses, especially when it happens in the family. Because you get women, abuses happen, it's reported, you follow up, and you're told that, oh, especially by women, oh, we want to settle it at home. We don't want to embarrass the man and all that. We need to stop that.
To stop it. I think a lot of times the reason why women also shy away from those things is because, like, the community, the family, everybody goes against her. Why would you expose the person? And because they don't want to be alienated, then they sacrifice it all.
Trust me, if one person comes out to be that person that breaks the yoke, to stand for an abused person, it will continue. You will get other people now boldly reporting and knowing that they have somebody who is there for them. We all need to be that one person who makes a change.
Awesome. It's been wonderful talking to you, Whitney.
Wonderful meeting the beautiful face for the first time.
Whoa, quite insightful. I hope you enjoyed the session with Ms. Austin and also with Whitney of 3 Music Women Branch. Well, we're going for a quick commercial break. When we return, we get to hear from Eunice Abonyaji of Star Ghana Foundation. She is loaded and you want to hear what she's going to say. Do not go away. Hello, Africa. Africa. This is ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices Show. And right now, we have someone who made a presentation for Star Ghana Foundation. She's Eunice Abwenyaji, and she's going to be talking to us about her presentation that I found really amazing. And I felt like she really has got to let my audience get to hear her as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, over to Eunice Abwenyaji. You're welcome to African Women's Voices Show.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so please, if you can recap your presentation, or, right here at the event, so that my audience gets to hear you and everything you said.
All right, thank you very much, and thanks for having me. Let me say again. We are celebrating International Women's Day. It's not only a day, I'm told it's the whole of March. And we are going to be celebrating the achievements we have made as women from different walks in different areas of work. But as we celebrate, we are also raising concerns with some of the issues that retard our progress. We are celebrating because we have women breaking the grounds. We have women that are influencing spaces, whether in academia. So we have a lot of professors that are here today. We have women in the media like yourself, we have women in arts and culture. We have women in civil society organizations that are lifting other women up. And it's important when I come to talk about solidarity. They are lifting other women up, and they are using their positions to open doors for younger women to come through, to become like them, or to become even greater than them. And so we are happy that we are seeing that in our country. We are also happy that our government is signatory to many international protocols on women's rights. And it's important to mention because some countries don't sign it, but our country, our government has signed. So our country has signed on to the CEDAW. We've signed on to the Maputo Protocol. We are a member of the SDG, and our president is even the African Union SDG champion. I think, champion. And so we are celebrating all of this. But we have some concerns that in spite of the many policies we have signed on to, whether international ones or national ones, we haven't implemented them to the latter. And so there are so many challenges that women and girls have to confront daily when either they are accessing education, whether they are accessing healthcare, whether it is access to livelihood, and all of those. For example, if you look at women's participation in governance, let me say we have made progress, but if we compare ourselves to our peer countries, we haven't done much. For example, if you look at parliament, we have only 40 women in parliament out of 275. That is not good. And I have a friend of mine who says that if you are not on the table, you could be on the menu, so you are going to be eating. And so it is important for us to understand the role that women in decision making can play to women's advancement, because a woman understands a woman experiences much better. A woman understands a woman's needs much better. And so if you are making decision and there are only few women, or there is no woman, the likelihood is that you are going to be making decisions based on only the understanding and experiences of the men that are at the table. And so right from the beginning, the decision is flawed because it is not representative of the experiences of the gender diversity. So we mentioned that women in governance is critical for women's progress to be achieved much stronger, much faster, let me say. When we look at women in traditional governance, and I'm passionate about this because, you know, we grow up in communities where queen mothers are at the forefront of community development. They are the ones who organize their communities to do the clean ups. They are the ones who watch over the young ones. They are the ones who are representing women in totality in the community. Yet they are not, you know, taking equal places in traditional council meetings, you know, and they are not also participating in regional houses of chiefs and the national houses of chiefs. And we think that this is something that we should begin to look at. And I gave an example of this queen mother who was at the Ministry of Gender's seminar on Tuesday, and she lamented, and you could see that this is a traditional leader who is passionate about development, but she doesn't have opportunity to contribute to decisions that give meaning to community development, women's development. So we should revisit all of those things. In the context of COVID, it's important to flag the issue of girls losing out on education because of the close down of schools. We have done a research, and we have done a number of conversations to understand the drivers of the increase in teenage pregnancies during that time. And I gave an example of data from Ghana Health Service District Health Management Information System that says that between 2016 and 2020, and 2020 was the highest, that we've had about 555,000 575 girls getting pregnant. What that means is that we have many girls losing out on education. And it means that these girls are not able to transition. They are not able to break generational poverty, because a teenage girl who is poor is likely to raise her child in poverty. And if the girl, if that child is a girl, she will be facing multiple vulnerabilities. And so it's important to engage the issue of girls' education in this context. And I'm aware that the Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, are prioritizing this. I'm aware that the National Development Planning Commission is also prioritizing girls' re-entry, which is a plus for our government. And so these are some of the things that we raised. And then I concluded by saying that women must be at the forefront of women's empowerment. And we do recognize the role of male supporters. We must honor them because they are also challenging a status quo, that they can be men, they can be people with privileges, but they are also willing to share their power with women. And so we need to really look at how we build this movement of women connected at different levels and working together to secure better future for younger girls coming after us. And I mentioned that in the past, in the 1990s and the 2000s, there was a lot of vibrancy and energy in the women's movement that we do not see currently. And it could be one of the reasons why we have had to, for years, over 14 years, engage on a bill, affirmative action bill, which we know that has potentials to address historical inequalities against women. We have had for 14 years to be engaging on this issue, and we have struggled because we don't have a rallying ground like we've had for the Domestic Violence Act, we've had for the Women's Manifesto, like we have had for the Disability Act. So we need to bring back that kind of momentum within the women's movement. And in the women's movement, we must recognize the diversity of women. that there are those of us here that are different from others, but a woman's issue is the same. And so we must find ways of connecting our messages with women at the grassroots so they understand what we are talking about, and they can grow passion of activism and connect with all processes towards influencing any kind of agenda for women. And I think that in the women's movement, we must also address the issue of the intergenerational gap. We must recognize the pioneers of women's rights in Ghana. We must also recognize young activists that are coming up. The movements must understand and appreciate that the effort of the different actors add up to make our work much more effective, to help us achieve results. And so we must recognize the young activists, encourage them, support them. We must also open up and be ready to be guided by the pioneers because they have walked the path before and they can advise us. So we need to bridge that gap so that when we can have seamless transition across generations of across generation of women activism so that we sustain the movement.
Wow.
And I think the last thing which I want to add is that, you know, the women's movements, their work have largely been financed by foreign aid, foreign donors. But we are also in the context where there is little development aid coming for such work. And so we must begin to grow local philanthropy. We must begin to engage citizens as investors. So they are contributing their time, they are contributing their resources to support all advocacy in relation to or with gender equality, women's rights.
All right.
Women face biases in almost every aspect of life, to be honest. Yeah, there's so many I can talk about, but I'll just talk about a few. Okay, number one is people just assume that once you're a woman, you don't have physical strength to do certain things. You know, apart from the fact that, you know, I'm built in a big way, I'm bigger than most women are, but I can, yeah, I can do so many things that people think women can do. Like, I can change a light bulb. A lot of people think a woman can't change a light bulb. Yeah.
Really, you can change the light bulb?
Yeah. Why are you surprised?
Because I can't.
I can change a light bulb. I change light bulbs in my shop, in my home, in my bedroom. Yeah. You see? So people feel like, oh, you're weak, you can't do this. But we can. Women are overlooked a lot of the times at workplaces for promotions because of bias. You know, they feel like, oh, if you're promoted, if you're given this managerial role, especially if you're a woman and you've not had kids yet, like me, they feel like, we'll give you this position and then you go on maternity leave. We now have to pay somebody else to come work for you, and so you can be overlooked. They're being biased again. Even getting certain opportunities, you can be overlooked because you're a woman, because they feel like you're not capable. Maybe you can't do it, you're too emotional, or women are too emotional. Let's give it to a man. I'm a trained broadcast journalist, apart from being a designer. There are times when I'm looking for MC work to host events, and then it's me with a male MC. The male MC sometimes is chosen over me because they'll say, oh, men have more commanding voices than a woman. Oh yes, it's happened a few times.
Really?
I've been told a male MC or host was chosen over me because they wanted somebody with a more powerful voice, and they think the male MCs are more humorous.
They have no idea who you are. They have no idea. It's their loss.
We face them every day, every time, everywhere. But we have to keep fighting. We have to keep proving that yes, we can. So anytime I get a chance to host an event or anything at all, I'm given a chance to say anything, even speak in public, I make sure that I prove a point. I prove that I'm capable. I can do it. Keep on watching African Women's Voices on ETV Ghana.
And you're welcome back to the studios of ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. Yes, I'm not able to fix a light bulb, but there are several other things that people do not expect women to do that I can do. All right, so let's always meet each other at wherever our strengths, are always shining. We're going to be going for our final commercial break, but I would like to say this to a fine gentleman here. He is in Ashorman, and his name is Faisal Baba. And Director 1 of ETV Ghana has a message for him. It's his birthday, so he says, happy birthday to you, Faisal Baba. May Allah continue to bless you abundantly. So Faisal, this is from Director 1 of ETV Ghana. And I also have Justice. Justice says his wife says she's always watching the show, and she's even watching right now. Okay, so Justice Nate, say a very big thank you to your wife for always watching ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. We'll go for the quick commercial break. When we return, we get to hear from Hetty. She is the founder of Femin Style Africa, and we would like to hear what she's got to say. Do stay. Hello, Africa. Welcome to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. We are still here at Alliance Française, where Femin Style is organizing the very unique International Women's Day activity where African women are breaking the bias. I would like to introduce one more time to you. She was in the studio just on Wednesday, and today we are here with her at her event. Hetty, you're welcome once again.
Thank you.
African Women's Voices show.
Thank you.
Wow.
Happy to be here again, and thank you for coming to the event and for setting this up. It's lovely.
Nice. We decided to have something like this because we realized that when it comes to things around women, we need to really attach some kind of seriousness to it.
Definitely.
There has to be some packaging because, women, we like to package ourselves very well. So everything women, we really try to package it so well. And I'm really loving what I'm seeing. The setup is beautiful. The panel discussion is going on and people are really engaged around the conversation. I want to say a big well done to you.
Thank you.
I know I asked you this question when you came to the studio about what made you decide to pick on the various panelists who came, and you explained that they were coming from various backgrounds, and I can attest to that. They're all coming in with various, angles and perspectives of how we're supposed to be seeing things, and that's quite encouraging. Beyond this, I was going to ask, what are we looking up to, looking forward to with Femin Style? We've done the IWD. Is there something else that'll be coming up that you want us to partner you again with? Or, people will need to know, because after this very beautiful event, we all will be looking at, okay, Femin Style, what next?
Well, so because we're Pan-African magazine, we're looking at organizing events in other parts of the continent. Our next stop is likely going to be Kenya. But before that, we have been working on an idea to introduce a training package for women who want to be entrepreneurs. So it's going to be women of all ages, well, from 18 to about 45 or so, who have a business idea. And we're going to give them practical tools on how to start a business, how to access funding and legal issues and all of that. And we're looking to launch that hopefully by the end of the year. Apart from that, as you know, we're a digital magazine. We publish articles every 5 days. We have writers from 6 different African countries so far. And so every 5 days we have an article that comes on our website. We have our social media pages. So just people engage with us. We do have a lot of content, very, very important topics that women have written about from the perspective of women for women. And so there's a lot to look forward to.
All right. So you mentioned the website for whoever is coming to visit for the very first time.
Yes. So the website is www.feminstyle.africa.
www.feminstyle.africa. All right, so we look forward to that, and we definitely will want to be there to amplify the voice.
Thank you very much. We're looking to profile you, so we'll talk about that later before I go.
All right, I'm loving your outfit, by the way.
Thank you. My skirt was made by my best friend, who is a Ghanaian designer. Her brand name is Ampofua Ghana.
As a Ghanaian, a young Ghanaian who grew up in rural Ghana, for me, even coming into the reproductive health state was because of the bias and experiences that I had. I grew up, if most of your audience are familiar with Ghana, in the western region of Ghana, from Inswaim, where illegal mining is high, and teenage pregnancy is almost normalized. And yet, from primary school to SHS, never once did I learn more about my reproductive health or how to even prevent unplanned pregnancies. It took me going to the university to first hear about contraception or access to reproductive health services for young people. And so it was fascinating for me that I was not special. I was first in my family to make it to university, and one of the first girls in my class to even make it to high school. But I was not special. I am not special. It's just I did not get pregnant. My colleagues got pregnant. Why should something preventable as an unplanned pregnancy determine the futures of girls? Well, we record over 100,000 of pregnancies each year in this country. I mean, within the 2018-2019 academic year, Ghana recorded about 7,293 pregnancies in schools alone. How then, if we are talking about breaking the bias and advancing sustainable development goals, even gender equality in Ghana, how can we hit our chest and say that by 2030, young girls in primary 4 will all still be in school and not be somewhere on the street, be teenage mothers struggling to make ends meet? And for me, that is the vision of Marriage Stops, to contribute to achieving sustainable development goals by enabling women to access services and information, to attain bodily autonomy and be able to make life-changing decisions about their life and their fertility and reproductive choice. Marriage Stops, our services are broad. We say that we serve women from menarche to menopause. But whilst it is a service delivery organization, we are also an advocacy organization, because we believe that, we are a feminist organization, because we believe that the conversation around gender equality has reproductive health at the center. Women's ability to enjoy their reproductive rights largely contributes to the ability to enjoy other rights, like the right to education, the right to economic empowerment. There are some women that cannot even determine the number of births that they want to have or how to even space their birth to be able to either focus on their career or their education or to even stay in school. And for me, that is the fundamental of our work. And if we're talking about breaking the bias, and like you said, the bias is about our work, we need to be able to break that bias. We need to be able to look at the crucial role that reproductive choice plays in the life of women, from women working on farms in rural communities to women in the banking sector, even in the political sector. There are some companies or organizations that would not employ certain women, a freshly married woman, because they fear that you're just freshly married and you're going to get pregnant and go on maternity leave, and so they would rather employ a man who would not go on maternity leave and who would not affect that. And this is a reproductive choice decision that is hindering a woman's access to labor or employment. But women can plan their birth. And the fact that somebody is freshly married doesn't mean that they're going to start reproduction immediately. Or even if they're going to start reproduction immediately, why should that hinder their employability? And these are conversations that we need to have. Why is it that young girls across the country are not getting comprehensive information on their reproductive health to be able to prevent unplanned pregnancies? Why, and we remember, in 2019, when the conversation about comprehensive sexuality education came about, we sensationalized it, and now it's more or less like a conversation that we are not returning to. Now, if it's a global discourse, if there are aspects of, for example, comprehensive sexuality education that we think are not culturally appropriate, we need to interrogate that. How do we advance access to reproductive health education that is culturally appropriate and acceptable and still scientifically accurate? Because access to reproductive health education must be relevant to your context. It must be relevant to your surrounding environment, and it does not just center, for example, sexual and access to services alone. It centers advocacy, ability to even say no to sex, ability to report rape, ability to say that I want to abstain and be empowered enough to abstain. And these are conversations we need to have. These are biases that we need to break. Why is it that even today young girls cannot freely walk into a health facility to access safe reproductive health services? Because a provider will look at them and say that, hey, you are a sport girl. These are biases that we need to talk about, because you see, when you deny a young girl access to certain reproductive health services, you are denying them access to their future. Most girls, when they get pregnant, that's the end for it. If you don't have a good support system, you are not able to return to school and stay in school and complete the course. Even those who have good support systems that return to school, what is the probability that they will be able to stay in school? Because that's a child, parenting a child. That is a responsibility that a child is not supposed to have. And so when you deny young people access to information and services,
You can feel the passion with which she was speaking concerning the reproductive health of women and how the choices we make are actually impeding our advancement. We really need to talk about the choices that we are forcing women to make just because we don't want society to frown on us. We have to agree to disagree. Let's not just check it and say, no, we're not talking about this. So the whole idea around what we're doing with International Women's Day is for us to be able to begin to talk about those things that culturally we shy away from. Let's talk about them in ways that are culturally accepted so that we can actually move on and have a better society. We are drawing the curtains, but I would like to give an information to you. And this information is from the NCA. It says March 2022 is already here. Have you registered your SIM card yet? Have you dialed *404# to start the registration yet? If not, do so now. Remember, only the Ghana card can be used to register a SIM card. Get your Ghana card and register. Dial *404# and start the process to register your SIM card now. For enquiries, call your service provider on 100 or the NCA. Toll-free number is 0800 110 622. Start the process to register your SIM card to stay connected. And I also have another one from Aluma. It says, known for its great heritage, Aluma Bitters is a natural herbal alcoholic product made from carefully selected African tropical plant extracts. Well known for its great medicinal values, Aluma Bitters has its roots in the traditional herbal industry, and it is the only bitters that has been meticulously researched by the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research into Plant Medicine, as well as being scientifically evaluated for functionality, safety, and quality. Choose right and drink the authentic African herbal bitters for the right results. Aluma Bitters, authentically African, produced by Casapreco. For bulk purchase, please call 026 235 1251. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years of age and not recommended for pregnant women. And this advert is FDA approved. So for those of you who sent in your comments, I have not forgotten about you at all. So do not say, hey, she didn't read my comments. Okay, it's coming. I'm doing that right away. Somebody says, I'm watching you live from Laboni and I'm loving your outfit. And the person who said this, who is watching me from Laboni right now, I'm trying to get your name. You're Philippe Kwabina Ignacio. Thank you so much. And I also see another one from Philippe. He says again, wow, you did a great job. I see Virgin Chaimensa. She says, I'm watching you live from Accra, Kerry. Thank you so, so much. And for those of you who have been sending me your ways across Ghana and Africa, I am really grateful. So to conclude our conversation tonight, we're going to be hearing from an ardent viewer of African Women's Voices show. She was thrilled to see us at the Femin Style event, and she had this to say. So we're going to be rounding up with her information, but know that the repeat broadcast of this show is going to be coming to you on Saturday at 12 noon. We'll also upload it on YouTube. So let's hear from Jimat Labi. Until we meet next week, do enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Hey, girl. Hey, woman. Wherever you are today, I want you to know that you've got something amazing within that you can ever imagine. Just step out. Because those who show up, grow up. Let the men know that you can also do it. Don't use the children as an excuse. Don't use the work as an excuse. Don't use the kitchen as an excuse. Just show up and do what you can. It'll get to a time where unconsciously you will be biased yourself. But break that first, and trust me, you will be noticed out there.